By certain operational metrics, flights scheduled or passengers flown, American Airlines is not only the largest air carrier in the US, but the largest in the world. And yet, by most financial metrics, margin, revenue, profit, it is the least effective of the Delta United American trio at actually making money. It's a curious dichotomy, but it's not explained by simple bad luck. Since 2020, at almost every major moment when the airline's management could have made the right or wrong decision, they made the wrong one. It started with COVID in those earliest days of the pandemic. The big strategic call each airline had to make revolved around timeline. The aviation industry quickly understood that demand for short-haul travel would likely recover sooner than demand for long-haul travel due to a combination of government regulation and passenger preference. Therefore, it was clear that wide-body and long-haul planes, predominantly used for intercontinental flights, would not be necessary anytime soon. While each airline kept a portion of these planes operational for the skeleton international schedules they continued to operate, they each had to decide what to do with the rest. United kept them all. Some sat in short-term storage at maintenance hubs. Others were flown to long-term storage at desert airports like Roswell, New Mexico, and Victorville, California. Delta took a broadly similar approach except for its 777 fleet. These were old, comparatively inefficient aircraft that might not have remained in the airline's fleet for much longer regardless, so Delta decided to retire all 18 of them. American, meanwhile, clearly had a much more pessimistic prediction of what demand recovery would look like. They retired all of their A330, 767, and 757 aircraft, representing a massive 30% reduction in their long-haul fleet. It wasn't long before they regretted that decision. Fast forward to summer 2022, and Americans and Europeans were vaccinated and ready to travel. Transatlantic travel was up to about 90% of normal, and airlines were able to charge some of the highest fares ever thanks to the pent-up nature of demand. People were willing to spend a lot after 2 years largely devoid of long-haul leisure travel. American Airlines, however, could only operate 80% of its normal schedule. They didn't have enough planes. Boeing was experiencing yet another manufacturing issue. The process for making small adjustments on the join between 787 fuselage components wasn't working properly. The connection between the parts was lumpier than it was supposed to be. The FAA halted deliveries until the manufacturer could correct the issue. The consequence for American Airlines was that they didn't get 13 of the 787 deliveries they were expecting before the high-demand summer 2022 season. They'd said they wanted to operate 89 of their normal schedule, which would have been almost perfect for the 90% demand recovery that came to pass. But due to their aircraft shortage, they cut historically successful destinations like Edinburgh and Shannon. Those were first on the chopping block because they'd previously been operated by the 757, the only smaller narrow-body plane equipped for transatlantic service, so it was better to devote their wide-body aircraft to higher-demand destinations. American also cut its struggling Seattle to London route and made even more brutal cuts to the other continents that composed its long-haul network. Los Angeles to Sydney and Dallas to Santiago were gone, while frequencies dropped to Sao Paulo, Beijing, and Shanghai, all in service of reallocating aircraft toward the Atlantic. In the years that followed, transatlantic demand stayed exceptionally strong. In 2023, Americans spent 17% more on international travel than they did in 2019. The next year, it went up to 27%. Just when the aviation industry came roaring back to life, American ended up with a smaller fleet, meaning they captured less of that expansion. The money went to United and Delta. American lost out. When Boeing finally resumed 787 deliveries, American realized they'd not only messed up the timing of retirements but also the composition. Their long-haul fleet was now over-indexed on newer airplanes. Newer doesn't always mean better for airlines because newer also means more expensive. Airlines almost always lease or finance aircraft, so costlier planes carry higher monthly payments. These higher payments can be worth it because newer generations tend to be more fuel efficient. For every hour an airline flies a newer aircraft, they effectively recoup some of the cost through the fuel they don't burn. But to make the trade-off worthwhile, planes need to fly a certain number of hours, and American was struggling to reach that threshold. Demand is seasonal, lower in winter, higher in summer. Ideally, the airline keeps its most fuel-efficient aircraft flying year-round to offset their costs and reduces usage of older planes with lower payments. American's ratio of new to old aircraft was off balance. Even as they faced a shortage, they decided to defer future deliveries of some incoming 787s, pushing them farther into the future to slow growth. They still struggle to capture seasonal demand. They have to keep aircraft operating to destinations with strong year-round traffic like London, Tokyo, or Sydney. Today, 47 of their long-haul fleet is composed of newer generation widebodies, compared to 32 for United and 37 for Delta. In 2019, American's figure was 27. A smaller retirement could have put them on par with their competitors. But management made the wrong call, leaving the airline in a worse financial position. Meanwhile, the airline was floundering over the Pacific. Asia-Pacific demand was never on Europe's scale, but it was still significant, and more of it always went to United, Delta, and foreign carriers. American never had a strong trans-Pacific strategy. They do technically have a West Coast hub at LAX, but it's not ideal for long-haul operations because everyone has a hub there. It's the only airport officially designated as a hub by all three, American, Delta, and United. The result? None of them have a dominant domestic feed from LAX. Fewer connecting flights mean fewer passengers funneling into long hauls. United uses San Francisco as its main trans-Pacific hub, Delta leans on Seattle, and both have stronger domestic networks supporting those hubs. American, stuck with LAX, loses the connectivity war. Coming out of the pandemic, American's trans-Pacific portfolio shrank from 9 long-haul destinations to just 5, dropping Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Sao Paulo, and Tokyo Narita while adding Brisbane and keeping Sydney, Auckland, Tokyo Haneda, and London. Part of the reasoning was a flirtation with Seattle. Delta was strong there, but so was Alaska Airlines, a short-haul carrier at the time. 1 month before the pandemic, American and Alaska announced a partnership allowing passengers to book itineraries combining Alaska's domestic legs and American's new long hauls from Seattle. The first was supposed to be a flashy route to Bangalore, a southern Indian tech hub with major U.S. ties. No airline had yet made that link nonstop. Seattle's geography made it just barely feasible. London would follow, feeding into British Airways, their key European partner. A third route, Shanghai, was planned for March 2021. Only one took off. Bangalore was postponed due to the COVID demand collapse, then delayed again by the 787 delivery freeze. Finally, Russia's invasion of Ukraine shut Russian airspace to Western carriers, lengthening routes to India and pushing Seattle-Bangalore out of range. The London flight began but changed little. British Airways already operated multiple daily departures. The Shanghai route never launched due to China's prolonged restrictions. Later, American quietly started limited service to Shanghai from Dallas instead. Then Alaska announced its merger with Hawaiian Airlines. Hawaiian, weakened by Japan's collapsing tourism demand, offered widebodies Alaska could repurpose for its own long-haul ambitions from Seattle, essentially replacing American's role. Cooperation faded. American canceled all Seattle long hauls and ended up even worse off. More time, money, and effort wasted. The same pattern repeated in Austin, Texas. Before COVID, it was a rising tech hub. After COVID, it exploded as remote workers flocked to a low-tax, warm-weather city. Airport traffic boomed and American tried to seize it. From 8 destinations in early 2021, they expanded to nearly 40, increasing seat capacity 5-fold. The idea: block Delta from growing there and lock in future loyalty before the airport's expansion in the 2030s. But demand hadn't caught up. The market couldn't support that many flights. To fill the gap, American relied on smaller regional jets, breaching a long-standing pilot union limit on how many non-hub flights could be operated by regional affiliates. By 2023, Austin's growth cooled, housing costs spiked, and migration slowed. The city's boom faded, and so did American's plan. Once again, they pulled back, having wasted time, resources, and money. At the same time, they pursued another misfire in the Northeast New York. Long the weakest of the big three there, American had little market share and few open gates. Their solution? Partner with JetBlue. The Northeast Alliance would share flights, revenue, and schedules to compete more effectively with Delta and United. On paper, it made sense. In practice, it drew the ire of the Department of Justice, which sued on antitrust grounds. The argument that two weak competitors merging could strengthen competition didn't hold. The court ordered the alliance dissolved, and both airlines reverted to their old networks. Another experiment, another failure. With revenue lagging, American tried cost-cutting by pressuring corporate travel agencies to adopt the new NDC booking system. When agencies resisted, American pulled 40 of its cheapest fares from the old GDS network and cut frequent flyer earnings on non-compliant bookings. Agencies rebelled, customers defected, and rivals gained business. By summer 2024, the plan was reversed after a $1.5 billion hit in revenue and lasting damage to relationships. Meanwhile, the airline neglected its Chicago hub. From 2019 to 2024, American offered 21 fewer seats there, while United held steady. The city reclaimed underused gates and reassigned them, 4 lost by American, 5 gained by United. A lawsuit failed. Another loss. Quarter after quarter, American earned billions less than its peers. This debt was heavy, margins thin, and leadership shaken. Chief Commercial Officer Vasu Raja, architect of the agency fiasco, was ousted in mid-2024. Slowly, the company began rebuilding its corporate sales team and receiving more 787s. The new aircraft improved capacity and finally addressed another flaw: too few business class seats. American's older 777-9s carried only 30 versus United's 48. The new 787s feature 51 lie-flat seats, a long-overdue upgrade that aligned with booming demand for premium travel. The upcoming A321XLRs will fill the gap left by the retired 757s, enabling direct transatlantic flights from smaller markets like Philadelphia or Boston. Efficient and flexible, they'll help restore routes once lost. But all these fixes merely return American to where it was before the pandemic, and before COVID it was already the weakest of the big three. Over 5 years, the airline hasn't solved its core problems. It has only attempted to and made them worse. American Airlines now faces a choice: find real solutions or risk becoming a footnote in a duopoly dominated by its 2 larger rivals.